I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 11. Last episode, we had two very different stories happening on our screen.
Yes.
One of them
Emotionally very different.
Was very happy and lighthearted for the most part, other than our cynicism of thinking that something bad might come in the future. And then the other half was not at all us being cynical and us just watching cynicism in the purest form. And that form is poisoning your brother so that you are the one true king.
And then being scared that you yourself will also be poisoned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm speaking for you and shouldn't be, but I'm a little worried for Kettle about what, a meeting with King Harold would look like right now when King Harold is bedridden.
And we know that whatever happens with him could totally affect our other two main characters of this series other than Canute, Thorfinn, and Einar.
And the deal.
And we don't want anything to fuck shit up for them.
True. That's a very good way to put it. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. I'm going to say we're following Canute first. Wow. Seeing Canute fight? Ooh! Oh! You, when you first saw Canute last episode?
What if he learned from Thorfinn?
Ooh! I don't like Gunnar. I've never liked Gunnar.
Never liked him.
Miss Ragnar.
This was necessary for him to be followed. Intimidating.
Oh, shit.
He has a crush?
This is your time.
He quickly
Canute.
turns. Who's the man beside her?
Nice! I guess. I don't know anymore. Ooh.
Retreating might be a bad habit of his, but getting distracted by your crush is a bad habit of yours. Investigate. We're trying to make more money. That's where Kettle comes in. Raising taxes. That one. That specific one. We know who it is.
Oh,
yep.
Fuck. Oh no. That would make everyone happy.
Yeah, that's a great way to enter your becoming a king.
Wow.
They've been fighting a war. They need money. You just keep all your territory happy. Which could be dangerous for keeping hold of England.
直轄領を増やす。開拓ですか？開拓以外の方法で王の持つ畑を増やすのだ。
More war.
接収ですか
？Whales?
それこそいくらなんでも。少々の無理は通さねばならぬ。増税によって国全体に不満の。
Or taking some of Kettle's land.
いっそも軍団を解散させちゃうというのは論外だ。
Wow, I like the shot.
イングランドの民は心よく思っておらぬ。王とは剣だ。
Kings are like swords. What can a king without military might accomplish in this world? As opposed to Thorfinn last episode. Oh my god. Now we get the intro.
I love hearing stuff like that from him and remembering the chopped off head of his father being like, you're sounding like a king.
Thorfinn's wanting to rid the world of war and slavery. And Canute's like, what's a king without an army for war? So I don't think that it's going to result at the moment with Canute like driving up to Kettle's farm by himself.
No.
But
we did get that line of like, oh, well, we won't know exactly unless we got eyes on it ourselves. But...
I don't know if that means Canute going though. Plus we already had the foreshadowing of Kettle being the one traveling.
Yeah. If Kettle's low on money, though, if he loses out on anything, then he can't keep up with his deal with Einar and Thorfinn. Yeah. He would want to keep slaves, like the free labor.
Ah.
1週間前だ。一足遅かったな、親父。
なんということだ。山ほどお見舞いの品を持ってきたというのに。
Give him to the new king.
待てよ。タールギル、お前がわしを出迎えるということは、つまりクヌート陛下もここにいらっしゃるということか。
そりゃクヌート陛下の従手だからな。
That's crazy.
わしはハラルド陛下という。
But your son is a guard for Canute. Great.
良い関係を築いておかなくては。
Got your foot in the door.
おい、オルマルはどこへ行った？
あ、はい。若様でしたらさっきお一人で町の方へ。
行かせたのか？目を離すなと言っておっただろうが。
あいつももう20歳だろう。
Oh god.
子供じゃねえんだろ。
He's doing some childish stuff.
いつまで経っても子供なんじゃ。あのバカ息子は今頃肩がぶつかったのなんだろう。謝る謝らないのと揉め事になっとるに違いないわ。てめえからぶつかって。
Oh god.
ざけんなよこら。謝んのはそっち。
He knows his son so well.
商売物の反物だぞ。これが知るか。最初からそれが狙いなんだろ。こっすい商売しやがって。やだよ。
The fact that he's not grown up. He's not ready to go at any time. This is a bluff.
He looks like he's wearing what Thorfinn did in season 1, doesn't it?
I don't think you can just go.
He can pull his sword out now in the first try. He's really proud of himself for it. I take it back. Omar's the best character in the show. Oh shit.
When Dad shows up.
そうやって揉め事ばかり起こすんだ。男の喧嘩に首突っ込むんじゃねえ。その他物は弁償させてくれ。これぐらいあれば良いかな。
More than.
ちゃんとお釣りを返さんか。親父、やだな、見てたんすか。一部始終。
No!
これじゃあな、まだまだ大きい取引は任せられんな。 うちのせがれが失礼いたしました。私、レイフ・エイリクソン。
Slap me.
What the?
Maybe he
Okay,
thought it was
that makes
Thorfinn.
sense. Oh, he probably saw him and thought it might be Thorfinn and
That
then...
brought him to me.
トルフィンです。
Is he a fake Thorfinn?
みんなギョロメって呼ぶんで、そう呼んでください。
He named him Thorfinn?
No, he might be faking Thorfinn.
He is faking it.
ケティルさん、つかぬことを伺い
This
ますが
Thorfinn of yours.
そのトルフィン、ご家人の方はもしや奴隷ではありますまいか。ノルド人で金髪で茶色い目、年格好はちょうどこのくらい。驚いたな。おっしゃる通り。
Uh-oh.
背丈はもっと低いです。
Shorter.
出身はアイスランドで、元は戦士だったのでは。体に無数の刀傷があるのを見たことはありますが。
期待しない方がいいですよ。
Maybe it is an impersonator.
俺の時みたいに。
Yeah, he,
わかっとるが、ここまでの
just to look alike.
はあっとるんだ。
Of course, Leaf would never leave
事情
him.
が終わりのようで、レイフさん。はい。
Oh my god, I cannot believe this is happening.
しておるのです。奴隷になった友人の息子を。
ああ、どこだってどっちゃ。
だからその。
They're gonna go.
If they show me it this episode,
So he
I
was
will
brought
cry.
to this Thorfinn, still adopted him, but
帰り旅についてってもいいと言うとるし。
じゃあ、10日以上の時間のロスじゃねえか。寄り道って言わねえ
how
よ。
many times have they done detours like this?
I
Wow.
hope that it happens.
昨日申し込んで、もうクヌート陛下に拝謁が許されるとは。いや、正直
You got it so soon because it's gonna benefit Canute. You fell into his lap as soon as he needed you.
陛下とて、うちと取引を持ってそんなことはあるまいや。ケティル殿ご一行、謁見の前入る。
I am so nervous.
礼儀正しくな。
Oh god.
The belt. The
I
belt.
fucking
I just
love
noticed
Omar.
the belt.
He's such a good character. So well written.
ケティルよ。そなたの献上品は
And he sees that you're rather
なかな
wealthy.
か質の良い品々だ。世はいたずらに父や兄のやり方を崩そうとは思っておらぬ。
Unnecessarily changing things.
今後も国力を支える礎としての誇りを持って仕事に励め。
ありがたきお言葉。今後もどうかお変わりなくご後輩のほどを。
What the? Why are you standing up?
俺お前、御前であるぞ。はい、せんか。
クルート陛下、お願いがあります。俺を陛下の軍団に入れてください。できれば兄ちゃんと同じ重視団に。
ほう。あ、
なんならここで腕前を。
やめんかバカボン。御前で剣を抜くやつがあるか。いかがいたしましょう、陛下。
構わぬぞケティル。そのものの剣の腕前。
Is he gonna fight him?
Or have Wolf fight him. Or have Thorgil fight him. Look at Thorgil's face was even like... Have him...
その豚は今日の兵どもの夕食だ。
You can't fuck it
人
up.
体とみなし切ってみせよ。
はい、そんじゃい。
I'll take a whack at it. I love him so much. Reminds
I'm
me of
just gonna
Ari.
watch Thorgil's face.
I hope it didn't do
He's still a
anything.
child. It really... He's not doing anything. Or he's gonna ruin it so much no one could actually eat it. This is some good entertainment for Canute.
おうよい。よくわかった。
Bones are so hard.
オルマルと申したな。そなたの重視団入りに関しては、重視長と協議し
Give him some
明
hope.
日通
Good
達。
job.
この一件で俺もしばらく軍団内でからかわれるなこりゃ。気の小さいやつほどここ一番で何するか分かったもんじゃねえな。
It's a good line.
これ以上一族に恥の上塗りをしねえように気をつけるこった。
Doesn't he kind of remind you of Ari?
A little bit.
よくいる手合いです。戦場では真っ先にああいうものが死にます。
Men like him were the
部下
first
に
to
は
die.
確かありませんな。
But what's the but here?
ではもう一つの意見を
Maybe they can get more from Kettle if they offer taking Omar.
大いに使います。あの若者。
そうだな使えるこちらの思うように踊ってくれるだろう
では例の計画を
始める即位前だがみすみす良い機会を逃すこともあるまい
What are they-
万民の平和のためだ悪いが泣いてもらおうあのケティルが接収第1号だ
Okay, that was Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 11. Right off the bat, I apologize for my incorrect observation and guess as to what Thorfinn number 2 was doing with Leif.
Right.
I misinterpreted it initially and thought that he was actively trying to deceive Leif
Yes.
and prey on this kind man's,
man.
Generosity. But it seems I underestimated how generous that kind man was in the
Right.
first place.
So, like, he literally was, like, led to someone being described as Thorfinn, found they were the same age, they looked the same, they were probably enslaved, and adopted him, and that's so freaking sweet.
Man, I really hope that Leif reaches them. Not only Thorfinn, but obviously Leif has had an encounter with Einar as well. I would love for that to happen. But that comes with a few concerns and questions. So in terms of, like, the reacquisition of a farm, does that...
Right. What influence would that have on our characters is what I'm wondering.
Can you reacquire a farmer's slaves? Is there, like, a course of action that Kettle would not only lose land, but authority and control over the freedom of Thorfinn and Einar?
So the thing that I would grab onto that we've already been given is the idea of Kettle having a contract with a previous king.
Yeah.
And that when a new king comes in, that can change. So, like, if Thorfinn and Einar had an agreement with Kettle, then it could change because there'd be, I would say, in this example, the through line would be, must be new leadership of the farm.
Yeah.
In order to have that be a parallel.
But if that's on the table, or not even being reacquired as slaves, but just the entire idea of Kettle potentially losing money, potentially losing everything, losing a lot, Thorfinn's part of that equation, and so is Einar. And I think that it's very interesting that you're going to bring Leif Erikson back into the fray while these things are happening at the same time.
I also think it was, like, really visually nice that Canute is thinking about a scar given to him from Thorfinn upon thinking about what's going to be happening to the farm. Even though the character doesn't know that Thorfinn's there, we do. And so having him kind of swipe his cheek like that on the scar, other than being great with the line that was said while that happened,
They must pay their price.
so people can live in peace, they must pay their price, something like that.
Like, what are you trying to do? Like, are you, like, I'm assuming
My
that...
big question is that.
I'm assuming that, like Thorfinn, a foolish child within this, like, with this temperament, like, I'm reaching here, but he could be reminiscing, like, oh, this is similar to, like, he could react in a similar way as Thorfinn.
How would I have used Thorfinn?
No, not how I have used him, but just the idea of Thorfinn acting somewhat predictably, and short-tempered at the time of his youth. Omar could be used in a way that they set himself up in a situation that he would react without thinking and do something that makes it so him and his family owe the king something. Like, as repayment.
Was Thorgil's line that the more cowardly, the more unpredictable?
Correct.
So he is an opposite. We're getting him as an opposite perspective from what Canute is believing of Omar. Is that because he's the way that he is more predictable.
But it depends on the point of view, right? As like a first line of warrior who's going to die first, that was the first interpretation of what Omar would be like. And then after Canute was saying like, okay, what about a different perspective, you know?
How would utilizing him help them with their requisition of the farm? So,
like as I said, like set him up to overreact and do something stupid so that him and his family owe them something.
Yeah, so that they have reason, so the general public won't see it as, they'll see it as a punishment.
Yeah.
For the actions instead of the king is just sort of starting to take people's land. We all should be worried that
how
he might
grateful
try to take
the
our
king
land.
To let somebody who is obviously not well equipped for the job be a part of his army. And with that, like, graciousness, you're going to take it and do a slight upon him or cause
embarrass him or, yes.
Yeah. How dare you? You know, that's a potential outcome, maybe.
Which is worrisome for Omar because, as Kettle has said and as we know, he does not act as an adult. He still acts as a child. And his performance in this episode on both occasions of outbursts were very clear of that. He has no actual experience. He's spoiled. He doesn't think of consequences to his actions. He doesn't read the room. He doesn't really have great manners because maybe he feels because of his higher status that he can get away with these things. But this is the real world. He's been in front of the actual king or future king because the coronation hasn't happened yet.
You think Thorfinn would defend Omar? Depending on the circumstances?
Well, we don't know. That brings us back to our discussion of what would he justify in terms of using violence now. We don't know what his mindset would be. Like, is he completely pacifist? I will not raise a sword at all, ever? Or is he, I will defend the weak and those that can't defend themselves against injustice?
Yeah.
We don't know exactly where he lies with that.
What did you think of the line, I told you not to throw your sword, from Wolf to Canute? I
like that because we're talking about, we have like Omar in this as being like, oh, I bought you that sword, and he's picking fights with the sword, very childish, like, and that's the conversation. Isn't it pretty childish to be throwing your sword after a battle and not be respecting it?
The lack of respect is something that I think is like one note and an easy thing to take away, but I wonder like thematically what that's setting yourself up for, because like Thorfinn dropped his dagger, right? He didn't throw it, but he dropped it, and like I don't know. I wonder what there is, if there's something to that.
Right.
That's a little deeper. Man, Leaf is got to be one of the best characters in anime. And I love him. And I really, really did not expect him. And the idea of watching that interaction with Omar and Thorfinn go down, or Thorfinn, well, no, Omar and Thorfinn go down, and being like, huh, this guy has the same clothes that Thorfinn did in season 1. And then fucking Leaf out of nowhere, bro. God.
I hardly ever am like, I can't wait to like actually see what I looked like during a certain moment of a certain show. It's rare that I'm like, I really want to see what my face looked like. I am almost scared to see what my reaction of seeing the back of Leaf's head in this episode was, because I could hear my feet going like on the floor, and I'm like, oh my god, I better look ridiculous.
I was just dumbfounded.
Drum roll, please.
I was like, no fucking way this is happening.
We got so excited at the beginning of the season seeing the back of Leaf's head.
Yep.
The excitement had mounted so many degrees for this back of his head.
Phenomenal. I really loved Omar this episode. I thought
he's entertaining.
He was super entertaining.
The belt.
The belt is phenomenal. I love the skull belt. What I also love is like the comb in his hair and his like theatrics.
And you see the sword like in the air kind of moving. It was very it reminded me of like Mob Psycho or something. Something like that would happen in Mob Psycho.
I love it.
I feel bad for him though that he's gonna be utilized negatively again potentially. We had Snake's men kind of utilizing him for entertainment value or for their own motives in order to be able to like lash out at the slaves. Oh, come on, you're the master's son, you can do this. And it's unfortunate that we're going to be seeing in the same line of Thorgil being like, well, he's grown up, right? Since the last time I saw him, he hasn't. And we're seeing that he's again going to be kind of utilized or played with by others who can see who he is or like his personality, his youth.
I wonder if, like going back to the line that I brought up about told you not to throw your sword, that aligned with the guessing we're doing with what might happen with Omar. I wonder if it will inevitably be seen or shown to us as an acknowledgement of disrespect for the way of life from Danes and their like respect of fighting and what that means to them in a different context of just fighting to fight, like to living people, like this is a very important like way of life about them. And whereas sure, Canute won a duel versus Wolf here by using cunning measures and bringing up his sister and that. I wonder if that deceptiveness will ever be turned back around on him in any way.
Agreed.
His sister's an interesting character.
I know, Estrin.
Yeah, she reminds me of Thorfinn's mom.
She looks like Thorfinn's mom, and I'm also remembering the slave girl that Thorfinn interacted with when we met Askeladd's family member.
Ah, you're right.
Like all that time ago. But I agree that the sword line, I think that's a great line to remember. Kings are like swords. Hordaland, yeah. Kings are like swords was another line from this episode that I think you even were like, that's a good line.
It is.
So, especially with the whole topic of this episode being centered around swords and kind of who's picking them up.
Man,
Wolf has a crush.
Wolf does have a crush.
Will anything come of that?
Probably not.
No.
I don't know what to expect from Thorgil if something comes of Olaf. Like, would he be like, oh, well, you fucked up? Or would he get to a point where, like, don't blame my brother?
Interesting. That puts him in such a...
Because he's part of the circle. Like...
Right. And he was already like, I'm going to be hearing about this. You've embarrassed me. But he's saying it more in, like, a jovial brother conversation way here. He's not, like, super mad at him. Like, you're embarrassing me. Like, I hate you. But we know that he's we know that he is high enough status in terms of, like, talent and ability that he's an actual guard for Canute. Like, he's seen we saw the necklace that he's made.
Yeah.
We know that he's killed some people. And more than just some. What would his response be once that is turned on, like, the negative light is actually, like, turned on his brother?
Support your family or the king.
Right.
Who you're sworn to protect.
I was actually even surprised that he was willing to set up a meeting.
Yeah.
I thought that he would see that as, like, Dad, don't take advantage of, like, what I worked hard for, which is being, like, a guard for Canute. Like, I won this position with, like, my prowess on the battlefield. I thought he was going to say no. But what we see here is he's a family man. He actually does love his dad and wants to, like, help the farm out and loves his brother. And that brings you into dangerous territory of, like, what would his character do if Omar is utilized in a way where in a negative way, gets punished, anything.
I hate Gunnar.
Hate him too. We were supposed to hate him from the very beginning.
I know. I imagine that, like, Ragnar's dead and this guy's alive.
I know. No, this compliments to the person who not only wrote this, but character designed it. Killing Ragnar and then giving us his, like, Luigi brother is the best choice they could have done.
Yo. I think that you've done a disservice. I think that
They're the same, but one was in reddish colors and one was in green colors and they're skinnier and taller.
I think that whereas Ragnar is much more of a Mario or Luigi, I think we're thinking Gunnar is like a Waluigi or a Wario, you know? That's awesome.
That has to be what they were thinking, right?
No.
Come on.
Definitely not. But
they were like, let me make two brothers that are not twins, but one will be the same character design, just skinnier and in green instead of red.
I don't think that was what they thought.
That is what they thought, 100%.
Alright, that's all I have, you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.